Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested the three-eye atlas is actually some type of alien technology sent here from another solar system.
Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb has suggested that three-eye atlas is, in fact, a form of alien technology. The updated figures have completely reshaped the understanding of three-eye atlas. For months, astronomers had believed this interstellar visitor would merely graze the red planet. Astronomers persist in tracking a newly detected object, likely a comet originating from beyond our solar system. The interloper, three-eye atlas, was initially observed on July 1st. What was once considered a spectacular but harmless flyby has now been re-evaluated by new calculations from Harvard's Avi Loeb team and independent analysts at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, revealing something extraordinary. This object is not a mere rock. It might be intentionally targeting the inner solar system. Its trajectory, we know, is precisely aligned with the planet's. The path of three-eye atlas is not only exact, but is actively constricting, and its speed is escalating. For the first time, the latest data indicate a potential collision with Mars. Three-eye atlas is moving faster than any inbound interstellar object humanity has ever monitored. As of this week, its speed relative to the Sun is nearly 87 kilometers per second. Practically speaking, it covers the distance between Earth and the Moon in under 80 minutes. With each passing hour, gravitational influences from the Sun, Jupiter, and Mars subtly alter its trajectory by micrometers per second, minute adjustments that accumulate into immense deviations across tens of millions of kilometers. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter confirmed this on its most recent pass. The object's coma, its hazy halo, has doubled in brightness since August, exhibiting unusual high-energy spikes in ultraviolet light. This isn't typical cometary physics. The rate of CO2 outgassing far exceeds anything observed in any solar system comet. Rather than stabilizing as it nears the Sun, three-eye atlas behaves like a guided missile, self-adjusting, accelerating, and course-correcting by expelling gas plumes in deliberate bursts. The new trajectory analyses predicts the closest approach to Mars at a mere 1.95 million kilometers on September 26, 2025. For a planetary astronomer, this is an extremely close encounter. At this proximity, Mars' own gravity could exert a measurable influence on the comet, a fragment of what would have become a planet in another star system. And here's a frightening development. A mere 10 kilometers per second of additional velocity could alter its orbit enough to cause a direct impact just weeks later. Consider that three-eye atlas requires only a fraction of the momentum SpaceX's Starship uses to launch from Earth, to change its destiny from a flyby to a collision. These momentum shifts are occurring right now, concealed within its tail. Spectroscopy from Gemini South in Chile has uncovered something yet unexplainable. Instead of a steady, random release of sublimated ices, three-eye atlas's tail emits gas in precise, clock-like pulses every 17 minutes. These pulses, perfectly synchronized over days, generate microaccelerations in the exact direction needed to align with Mars's orbital plane. No natural process in comet science produces such a precise rhythm. In typical comets, jets erupt when sunlight strikes fresh ice patches, but these eruptions are chaotic and do not recur like a metronome. Here, the pulses appear engineered, much like attitude thrusters on a spacecraft. If this pattern persists, by September 19th, the comet will have exerted enough lateral thrust to close the remaining distance to under 50,000 kilometers, closer than some of Mars's moons. A significant outburst could then propel it into a collision course. At its current estimated mass of 10 billion tons of heavily irradiated ice and dust, with a metallic core possibly 400 meters across, a direct impact on Mars would unleash energy equal to 2 million megatons of TNT, thousands of times more powerful than the largest nuclear device ever tested on Earth. The resulting crater could be 60 kilometers wide and 5 kilometers deep, scattering debris into Mars orbit and potentially into interplanetary space. Given that Mars hosts dozens of active and planned spacecraft, from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to the Perseverance rover, an impact would not only scar the planet but also devastate decades of scientific investment. Communication relays, climate monitoring, and life-seeking missions could all be crippled overnight. Within NASA, discrete preparations are underway. Leaked memos indicate that mission planners are already using the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter as a forward radar to image and track 3I Atlas's inbound trajectory. High-GaN antennas at Goldstone have been repurposed to bounce radar off the comet's core. The results remain classified, but one insider described them as unlike any echo ever recorded. Hard, metallic returns instead of soft ice signatures. If these leaks are accurate, 3I Atlas may not merely be ice and dust. Its core could contain alloys impossible to form naturally in deep space, suggesting an artificial interior encased by sacrificial ice. Professor Avi Loeb and his student Adam Hibbard have long advocated for a technological explanation. Their new peer-reviewed paper, already circulating online, outlines a scenario in which 3I Atlas is a directed messenger launched by an advanced civilization. Instead of merely transiting our system, it might graze Mars to deploy probes or intentionally crash to release detectable materials from subterranean caches. They calculate that with each pulse of gas, the object isn't randomly losing mass, but is steering itself, propelled by its own sublimated exhaust. This would enable it to adjust its trajectory as it enters our planetary vicinity, much like a spacecraft uses reaction control thrusters, confirming the gravest fears. The European Space Agency's Mars Express has photographed 3 small, glinting objects in high orbit over Mars, arranged in a triangular formation, initially dismissed as cosmic rays. They appear in the same positions on 3 consecutive orbits. Could these be scout probes ejected by 3I Atlas during a previous pass? Loeb urges NASA to cross-reference these glints with archived Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter data to see if any matching metallic fragments are already on the surface. If found, it would be the first evidence of interstellar technology ever recorded, far more significant than the Mars meteorites we've studied on Earth. The timeline now appears chilling. September 26, 2025 marks 3I Atlas crossing Mars' orbital path. September 19 to 30 is the critical window for final course corrections via gas pulses. During this period, the comet's speed relative to Mars will be approximately 57 kilometers per second. At that velocity, even a glancing strike could vaporize cubic kilometers of rock and eject dust into space. Critics argue that no natural comet can alter its path by 10 kilometers per second through sublimation alone. That would demand over 10 billion joules of focused energy, far more than any comet outburst ever observed. Yet this is precisely what the trajectory implies. This energy discrepancy is Loeb's strongest argument. If we are witnessing such a maneuver, something is providing power on a scale unknown to planetary science, possibly fusion or antimatter reactors buried beneath the ice, expelling superheated gas as thrust. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers worldwide have been asked to submit every image of 3I Atlas they capture. Some of these images show the tail splitting into 3 needle-like streams that glow green with an eerie aurora-like radiance, pulsing in sync with the gas outbursts. At high exposure, the green beams appeared to converge towards Mars as if charting a path. Even though Mars is far from Earth, a massive impact could propel debris into interplanetary trajectories. Some models suggest fragments could reach Earth's vicinity within a decade. If any of these fragments carried engineered microbes or self-replicating nanotechnology, they could infect not only Mars but eventually the entire inner solar system. The European Space Agency, Roscosmos, CNSA, and JAXA have all quietly convened emergency task forces. No one will publicly state the reason, but insiders speak of planetary defense protocols. For the first time in history, scientists are openly discussing whether humanity should attempt to intercept or even destroy an interstellar object before it reaches another planet. The ultimate question persists. Who or what is controlling 3I Atlas? Is it a derelict craft from a civilization millions of years ahead of ours, its systems running on autopilot, or a deliberate probe testing our response? We simply do not know. However, the data no longer supports the old narrative of a passive comet. This object behaves like a vehicle, not a rock. By mid-September, every major observatory, from Hubble to JWST, will be focused on 3I Atlas if its pulses continue. And if it traverses the last sliver of orbital gap, the red planet may experience an impact unlike anything since the late heavy bombardment 4 billion years ago. For scientists, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For everyone else, it's a cosmic nightmare unfolding in slow motion. As that nightmare approaches, the silence from official channels grows louder. NASA issues calm updates. ESA posts routine images. They know that if 3I Atlas collides with Mars, the implications will redefine our place in the universe. So as you observe Mars rise this September, remember that above that rusty world, an interstellar object is threading the eye of a cosmic needle, pulsing its strange green exhaust, meticulously adjusting its path. Perhaps it's random, perhaps it's natural. But if it isn't, if some hidden engine deep within that icy core is steering towards a deliberate crash, then the first undeniable evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence might not arrive as a radio signal. It may manifest as a glowing green comet slamming into our neighboring planet at 57 kilometers per second, transforming the night sky and revealing that we are not alone. And we will know very, very soon. So what do you believe is truly happening with 3I Atlas? A natural phenomenon or something more? Share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe for more updates as the story continues to unfold.